They said Gucci Mane isn't really Gucci Mane. That's Hopson. They gave him plastic surgery to become Gucci Mane. And now they saying Damar Hamlin isn't Damar Hamlin. And if you ever watched the TV show The Boys, you know about Noir. You know how Noir died, but they had somebody else come back to play him. That's crazy.
You don't even know the real Gucci. Y'all think y'all know the real Gucci. Y'all don't know the real Gucci. That parading around out here, that ain't the real Gucci, man. That's not him. I don't know what, honestly. Like, last time I seen Gucci was at Patchwork Studio in 2010. Cold Blooded was there. Was Mojo there? Yeah, I think Mojo, Cold Blooded. Like, that's the last time I saw Gucci in the flesh, but even that.
They said Gucci Mane isn't really Gucci Mane, that the man we see today is a clone, a government-made copy built to replace the real one who supposedly died in prison. Sounds wild, right? But now, Kanye West is stirring the pot again, claiming he knows exactly what went down. And his version of events is even more unhinged than the internet's wildest conspiracy theories. From ex-girlfriends dropping cryptic clues to Nicki Minaj calling out Gucci's wife as his handler, the rabbit hole runs deep. And if you think this is just another baseless rumor, wait until you hear what rapper Hopson confessed about being forced to become Gucci's clone. Buckle up. This is the story that refuses to die. They say Gucci Mane isn't Gucci Mane. That the man we're seeing now, the one smiling on red carpets and posing with his wife, isn't the same man who went to prison years ago. They say the real Gucci never made it out. That what came back was a copy, a lab-grown clone built to keep the brand alive and the industry machine turning. And just when people thought those rumors were buried with the old internet conspiracy threads, Kanye West popped up and blew it all open again. According to Ye, Gucci's return wasn't redemption, it was replacement. He claims the man we know today isn't just reformed, he's recreated. That's why he looks different. That's why he moves different. That's why even his energy, the raw, unfiltered chaos that made Gucci Gucci, is gone. And suddenly, everything starts to look suspicious. Why does his wife, Kesha, control his social media like a PR agent on steroids? Why does she always speak for him in interviews? Why does it feel like she's watching him more than loving him? Fans swear they can see it in his eyes, or maybe that's the problem. Because those eyes, they don't even look like his anymore. Was Gucci really reborn, or was he rebuilt? Because if Kanye's right, the real Gucci Mane never came home. And the version we've been watching all these years is nothing more than the industry's most successful clone experiment. To understand why people believe Gucci Mane was cloned, you have to go back to 2013, the year everything fell apart. Out of nowhere, Gucci went on a full-blown Twitter rampage. Not a few messy tweets, hundreds. He was calling out everyone in the industry like he had a personal vendetta against the entire rap game. Nicki Minaj, Waka Flocka, Yo Gotti, T.I., Angela Yee Birdman, French Montana, nobody was safe. He accused people of betrayal, exposed alleged affairs, claimed industry beefs that nobody even knew existed. It was chaos in real time. One minute he was bragging, the next he was confessing to wild behavior that made no sense. Fans were watching in disbelief like, is this man okay? But the meltdown didn't stop there, it got darker. Days later, police in Atlanta got calls about Gucci threatening people in traffic, acting paranoid, out of control. When they showed up to arrest him, he didn't go quietly. He charged at them. Officers eventually brought him down, only to find weapons and drugs on him. It was just another chapter in a long list of violent outbursts, hitting a man with a champagne bottle in a nightclub, getting caught with illegal possession, violating parole. Gucci wasn't just spiraling. He was self-destructing. When the judge sentenced him to more than 3 years in prison, fans assumed this was it, that Gucci Mane had finally hit rock bottom. But here's where things get weird. Because after that arrest, everything about Gucci just stopped. The public didn't see him, didn't hear from him, didn't know what was happening behind those prison walls. And that's exactly when the clone rumors began. People started whispering that the Gucci the world knew, the wild, reckless, unpredictable one, didn't make it out alive. That something went down while he was locked up, something the public was never meant to know. And when he finally did come home, the man who stepped out of that cell looked nothing like the one who went in. Slimmer, calmer, cleaner, speaking like a motivational speaker instead of street legend. That's when the internet lost its mind, because everyone was asking the same question. If that's really Gucci Mane, then who was the man we knew before? When Gucci finally walked out of prison, people couldn't believe their eyes. The man who went in bloated, reckless, and barely holding himself together came out lean, glowing, and calm, like a completely different human being. He'd lost weight, kicked his addiction, started talking about self-control, business, and love. The tattoos were still there, but the energy? Gone. That raw, unpredictable chaos that used to pour out of him was replaced with a clean-cut composure that fans couldn't recognize. Gucci even released a heartfelt apology from prison, admitting to years of addiction, regret, and shame. He talked about wanting to be a better man, about getting help, about turning his life around. On paper, it sounded inspiring, but online, people weren't buying it. The sudden shift was too perfect, too polished, too scripted. Fans compared old footage to new videos, different smile, different voice tone, even a slightly different facial structure. He went from slurring words to giving TED Talk energy overnight, one fan wrote. That's not recovery, that's replacement. And so, the debate began. Was this redemption or reconstruction? A personal rebirth, or a government experiment that went way too right? Because if this was just growth, it was the most suspicious transformation hip-hop had ever seen. Then came the second layer of conspiracy. Kesha Coir, Gucci's wife, and according to some fans, the real power behind the new Gucci Mane. On the surface, their love story looked picture perfect. A loyal woman who held him down while he was in prison, then married him the moment he got out. But the internet noticed something off. Kesha wasn't just Gucci's wife. She was his manager, his brand curator, his public spokesperson. She controlled his social media, filtered his interviews, and handled his image with military precision. Every time Gucci was on camera, Kesha was nearby, watching, answering, directing. It started to look less like love and more like management. And then Nicki Minaj entered the chat. In a heated moment, she accused Kesha of being obsessed with her image and implied something darker. That Kesha wasn't a supportive wife at all, but Gucci's handler. Someone assigned to keep him sedated, obedient, and on script. The internet exploded. Suddenly, fans were dissecting every interaction, every look, every video of Kesha adjusting Gucci's posture or cutting him off mid-sentence. Theories swirled. Was she protecting him or controlling him? Was she keeping him sober or keeping him programmed? Because the way she runs his life doesn't just look like partnership. It looks like supervision. So now, the question becomes, is Kesha the love of Gucci's life or the key to keeping his clone in check? But nobody lit the match quite like Gucci's ex, Mac Breezy. Out of nowhere, she came forward with claims that shook the fan base. According to her, she saw Gucci after his release and instantly knew something was off. That's not him, she said flat out. His voice, his energy, his eyes, none of it felt real. Mac Breezy claimed that the man she saw wasn't the same person she'd once loved. It wasn't just about his looks, it was his presence. You can fake a smile, she said, but you can't fake a soul. Every time she tried to talk to him, Kesha would step in, redirecting the conversation, shutting it down. Almost like she didn't want Mac to look too closely or recognize what she wasn't supposed to see. Then Mac took things even further. She dropped a song calling for the truth, literally demanding that the real Gucci Mane's body be released. Fans didn't know what to think. Was this grief? Jealousy? Or a woman trying to tell the world something nobody wanted to believe? And that's when the patterns started to emerge. Every time someone got too close to questioning who Gucci really is, Kesha was right there, cutting the mic, ending the interview, steering the narrative. It makes you wonder, are these just bitter exes and internet rumors? Or is there really something deeper that the world was never supposed to find out? When the clone rumors started spiraling out of control, Gucci finally broke his silence. And in true Gucci fashion, the new Gucci, that is, he didn't yell, he didn't rant, he didn't even sound bothered. He just smiled that polished smile and said, I grew, I changed, I became a better man. In interviews, he talked about discipline, fitness, and cutting out bad influences. He said he lost weight, found peace, and started over. I shed some of my old ways, he said. I love who I was, but I also love who I am now. It was calm, poised, way too calm for the chaos he was surrounded by. But while Gucci was preaching transformation, the internet was not buying it. The same calm tone that was supposed to silence the rumors only made them louder. Fans filled comment sections with comparisons, before and after photos, old interviews versus new ones, side-by-side voice clips. That ain't Gucci, one viral tweet said. That's a government-issued upgrade. Another joked, they forgot to upload his old personality to the clone. Even memes took over TikTok and Twitter. Clone She Main, Gucci 2.0, Android LaFleur. Some fans swore the man's smile was different. Others said his tattoos didn't line up perfectly. Skeptics laughed it off, saying, "Y'all really think the government out here cloning rappers?" But believers clapped back with even more so-called proof. It became an internet war. One side calling it glow up, the other calling it cover up. And no matter how many times Gucci said he'd simply changed, people refused to let go of the idea that the real Gucci Mane never walked out of that prison. Just when the internet was starting to calm down about the Gucci clone theory, Kanye West jumped in, and suddenly the entire rumor caught fire again. Now, this isn't new territory for Kanye. He's been warning people about cloning, body doubles, and industry puppets for years. Usually, his rants get dismissed as just another Kanye moment. But this time, something felt different. The timing, the tone, the specifics. Kanye didn't just make a vague statement. He named names. He hinted that Gucci Mane wasn't the only one who'd been replaced after going against the system. He said there were people walking around in the spotlight who aren't the same souls they used to be. And the way he said it, cold, serious, almost scared, made people pause. Because for once, Kanye didn't sound like he was trolling. He sounded like a man who knew something he shouldn't be saying. And then, like clockwork, rapper Hopson appeared on Instagram Live, and things went from weird to straight-up disturbing. Hopson looked nervous, sweaty, and dead serious when he said he'd been forced into being Gucci's clone. According to him, after dropping his viral Ill Mind series, he got pulled into a room by industry elites. He described it like something out of a sci-fi movie. An all-white room, no windows, just a single table and a bodysuit hanging on the wall. He said when he asked what it was, someone told him, "That's your new life." Then he said the words that sent chills through everyone watching. "They made me wear a Gucci suit." He claimed he was threatened, that if he didn't go through with it, his family would be harmed. People didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or start Googling government experiments. At first, everyone thought Hopson was just trolling, another rapper chasing a viral moment. But after Kanye's claims, the puzzle pieces started to click for conspiracy believers. Hopson's nervous energy, his story about being coerced, and Kanye's insistence that Gucci wasn't himself anymore. It all lined up just a little too perfectly. And suddenly, what once sounded like a crazy internet theory started to feel like something far darker. Something only the people inside the industry could really understand. Once Kanye and Hopson dropped their bombshells, the internet went full detective mode. Fans started zooming in on photos, running old interviews through voice analyzers, and lining up screenshots like they were solving a true crime mystery. And listen, whether you believe in clones or not, some of this evidence was downright unsettling. People swore Gucci's eyes used to be a deeper brown. Now, they looked lighter, almost hazel in some lighting. Others noticed he suddenly wore sunglasses everywhere, even indoors or at night. One viral TikTok stitched together clips showing that his old speech pattern, slow, heavy, southern drawl, had been replaced with this sharp, clipped, media-trained tone. "That's not evolution," one fan said. "That's a new operating system." Another user pointed out that Gucci's tattoos looked ever so slightly off, same designs, different spacing. Someone else compared his smile lines and said, "That's a different face pretending to be the same man." Meanwhile, skeptics laughed it off, saying the man just got veneers, good lighting, and a skincare routine. But believers weren't letting go. Comment sections turned into digital war zones. One side cracking jokes about CLONED Main 3000. The other side posting before and after photos like courtroom evidence. And even the people who claimed they didn't believe it still had to admit something about the energy didn't add up. The old Gucci was fire and chaos. The new Gucci? Calm, controlled, corporate. And that's when the internet's favorite question came back to life. Okay, it's crazy, but admit it. Something feels off. So now the question isn't just if Gucci changed, it's how. Did he really go from chaos to clarity? Or did someone swap him out for the perfect industry version? Because think about it. Every time a celebrity falls apart, disappears, and comes back looking new, the same whispers start. Maybe Gucci was just the first one to make us notice. So what do you think? Did Gucci Mane evolve? Or are we really watching his clone live the good life? Drop your thoughts down below. I need to know where you stand on this one. And don't go anywhere, because the next story I've got lined up will make you question everything you thought you knew about the industry.